Okay, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this mediated version and thank the mediation committee that was co-chaired by Honorable Sabina Chege and Senator David Wakoli. Honorable Speaker, this bill, as members will note, is a National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2023. I say this, Honorable Speaker, because the ping pong between the two houses at times derails very critical legislation that is beneficial to the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, you know, government has since taken measures to even ensure that we are able to access, or Kenyans are able to access affordable animal feeds that are safe and secure for consumption by not just our animals, but also by human beings. Because the animal feeds that are produced and fed to animals, those animals will then become food on our dinner and our lunch tables. And therefore, it's important that when we have such mediated bills or bills that are amended in one house or the other, that the committees that are appointed to mediate between the two houses expedite that work quickly. And I say that, Honorable Speaker, because when we published this bill in 2023, there are very many critical issues touching on the levels of aflatoxin in animal feeds that are being consumed by animals, whether it's poultry, pigs, or even cattle, Honorable Speaker. And you've seen there's a proliferation of animal feeds from all manner of inputs that are coming from outside the country. Therefore, it was critical, and it's still critical, that we have a legal framework that determines what is the quality of animal feeds that are being produced, Honorable Speaker, in this country. I've seen very many foreigners today setting up mills. If you drive along the Thika Garissa highway, you see a lot of animal feeds, mills that have come up. If you drive towards Naivasha, you see the same. And in very many parts of this country, including the road towards Namanga, a lot of animal feed production mills that have come up. But we didn't have a clear legal framework to determine the quality of animal feeds that are being fed to our animals, and also to ascertain that what the animals are consuming is also fit for human consumption. Because as they say in Honorable KJ's world, in the ICT sector, garbage in, garbage out. So the same pertains in biology, Honorable Speaker. If you consume garbage, you get garbage out. And if we feed our animals with garbage, in quotes, then we produce garbage. And therefore, it's important that we have that legal framework that ensures that the quality of animal feeds that we are selling to people to feed their animals is good quality, it is of good standards in terms of standards for human consumption, and also good standards in terms of the output that it generates out of the animal that you are feeding. Because, Honorable Speaker, people are just milling maize jam. Honorable Speaker, you know you are a farmer. I know you are a dairy farmer. And you know there are certain minerals that your animal needs to be able to produce good quality milk. The same for a farmer like me, who is a pig farmer and also a beef farmer. We want to ensure that even the feedlots that we are establishing, the feed that we feed to those animals that we are producing, Honorable Speaker, we do not spend so much money in terms of inputs and get nothing out of output, because your cattle are not producing milk and quality milk. My beef cattle or my pigs are not gaining weight as they ought to because of the quality of animal feeds. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, this bill comes to address that question, to ensure that the feeds that we feed our animals are not just quantitative in terms of a 70 or 50 kg bag of animal feed, but there's quality in what we are feeding our animals. And besides quality in terms of the output, whether it is the mineral enrichment of the animal feeds, Honorable Speaker, there is also quality in terms of the ability of those feeds to be able to generate adequate gain of weight for those that are doing meat products, Honorable Speaker, or animals that are to produce meat, be it in poultry, pigs, or cattle, beef cattle, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, let me say this is one of the bills, again, Honorable Speaker, that at second reading, if members you remember, there was a huge debate on whether this was really an agricultural matter or a health matter. And it is a bill that cuts across the health sector and the agricultural production sector. And I must thank, and that's why I think we chose the Honorable Sabina to co-chair this, having been a chair of the Health Committee in the last Parliament, and also being a member of the Agriculture Committee. Therefore, it's a bill that has cross-cutting issues that will touch on human health, animal health. Therefore, I want to hope that both professionals in the animal production sector and also those in the health sector, public health sector, will take a keen interest to ensure that when we come to the final stages of this bill, Honorable Speaker, during Committee of the Whole House and third reading, we bring amendments that will enrich this bill to make sure that we produce animal products or animal feeding products that are of good quality and that will be beneficial to the output of animals in this country, Honorable Speaker. Because, Honorable Speaker, you know, you can produce the same amount of milk from your one cow over the years, but you could also feed that cow and produce the level of 3 cows, depending on what you are feeding that cow. And that's why, Honorable Speaker, I thought it was important that we mention these things again, so that we are praised of what we are doing, Honorable Speaker. Because many of us who are representing farmers, our farmers are being sold to products that are not helping the animals at all. Honorable Speaker, unfortunately, some of these producers of animal feeds just mill maize germ, mix with a bit of omena, and they call it animal feeds, Honorable Speaker. And they know these feeds need to be enriched with certain minerals that will help the animals in their growth, but many of them do not do. The authority must ensure then that there is proper inspection of the feed that is being sold in outlets. And also, Honorable Speaker, our county governments, and this is the issue that was in contention, what is the role of our county governments? Animal feeds are not just being produced for consumption in our small counties. We also produce animal feeds that will be sold to our neighboring countries. Also, inputs that come into the country are coming from other countries, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, that is why it was a position of the National Assembly, and I am happy that this matter has been resolved, that Section 16 of this bill had outlined detailed function of the county governments in relation to the food and feed safety bill, and therefore the section had sufficiently covered the role that the county governments will have. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, the institutions that were listed as competent authorities under this bill, under the first schedule of this bill, to the Act, are recognized internationally, and therefore they are not issues that should be used to, for our small politics here of inter-county and national government roles. And there are also specific departments within our county governments which might have a challenge in terms of international recognition. Therefore, you may say the county government of Kiambu has some department that is authorizing the quality of animal feeds, but that county government department may not be recognized outside one specific county. And I say that because I know a lot of these manufacturers, as I said, are setting plants in Thika, along Garissa Road. I have seen quite a number setting up shops towards Naivasha, others in Narok, others in Kajiado. And therefore, we do not want to belittle the regulation of this sector to small issues about intra-county issues, but we want to leave it at a level where it's at the national level and at an international level, so that certifications that are given are recognized globally and nationally, Honorable Speaker. With that, I support these amendments of the agreement by the mediated committee and urge the House to support. There being no other interest.
Honorable members, is it the mood of the House that I put the question? Honorable members,